Good morning. It is Monday, the 7th of July today. Is Bitcoin going to hit all-time high this week? We're going to do a top-down analysis of Bitcoin and a trade plan for the week and the day. We're going to do the same for Ethereum and we're going to do the same for the Solana. Timestamps are up there so you can skip ahead to the crypto coin that you're interested in. So let's just get into it. This video is sponsored by what.exchange. They are a new perp DEX. It is non-kyc and they have a big airdrop in the style of hyperliquid in early 2026. So get trading on them. It's a really simple and clean platform, which I'm enjoying. Link is in the description below. All right, we're going to start on the weekly time frame on Bitcoin and then work our way down to M15. So what we're going to do first of all is just mark important levels. And if you've seen the previous episode, then you will be kind of familiar with this. But I'm just marking that weekly high, which is the relevant thing. And then the weekly low down here, which isn't too relevant because it's a very long way away. But what's happened is price has pushed up from that weekly low to come out and test this all-time high. And now we're just kind of experiencing a retrace down to 98K. So if I just mark that bottom level as well, and we can see we're in a little bit of a range at the moment on the weekly time frame, and price is probably going to keep going sideways within it. But we'll have a bit of a better picture on the lower time frame. So if we look down on the daily, we have a bit more information to play with. So let's just mark this up. So this is the weekly high. And then what we've got from here is a big push up, a big swing up. And here we have the origin of the buying that took place to come and take the all-time high. So this is a key level, and you can see it's a key level by the fact that price bounces off it not once but twice, and it kind of wicks it, of course, but it closes very promisingly back into that level once it gets taken out. And then we get a big momentum push last Monday a couple of Mondays ago to kind of continue this overall trend. So this is a key level. And then I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. You can look at my previous video. I'm going to try to keep this one short. But this is also a key level because this is where the buying took place to continue the trend after this big low was put in. So we have a pretty convincing uptrend at the moment. So the bias is bullish. And then let's jump down to H4, get a few more candles, get a bit of a better picture. And what we can see is this big low that was taken out. And I'll just make that a little bit easier to see. Big low gets taken out and we have this as the origin of the sell-off that took place to come and take out that low. And from there, we also have another little level at this point here. So what happens, price from this sell-off, we've got a nice big chain here and we don't need all of them. The big sell-off to come and test this low, the retrace, and then from here the selling takes place to break the low, and then price can't continue. And when it comes back up to this point, instead of dropping down and continuing this bearish trend which starts from here, it doesn't. It finds some support, and this is the level that the buying originates from to take out this high and then to come and test this high. So what happens is it pushes up, hits this resistance, drops back down into this support, and then pushes up to break this level and start coming to test this high. Now from here, we're gonna have to jump down to the lower time frames, but the picture is pretty clear that any big buying level, any key level on the buy side is pretty important. There's a lot of reactions coming from it. So we can have a bit of confidence in looking for long. So now we're just on the hourly time frame, and I put a video up on X, which you could probably go check out as well on Friday night, just explaining this concept, but I'm going to explain it again. So we have a big push up, we have the origin level here, and then we have a trend that, a range that forms at the end of the trend. So you can see this is the hourly. Price moves sideways a lot within this range, pushes up, comes back into the range, pushes up but can't continue, and then drops down to this key level, this key origin level, which as I said before, is where the buying took place to continue the trend, take out this resistance, and then come and test this resistance. So it bounces from there, and then it puts in another decision point. We have another decision point here, and this is where, instead of meeting this resistance here and dropping, because this is where the sell-off took place to come out and take this range low out. This is just reading the story of price action. Bounce from this level, instead of dropping back down, it breaks to the upside. So this is a key level. This is where the buying took place to come and test this high and break this high. And then what we have at the top here is another range. And I'm just going to change the color of that, just so it stands out a little bit more. Okay, and then I'll just get rid of some of this drawing so we can see the similarities from what we've just had. So we have push up, decision point, push up, range, and then test the decision point. And then what we have again is trend, decision point, push up, range, test the decision point. And in both instances, we've had this here, this point here, we have a nice reaction to the upside. And here, similar thing. It's now pushing to the upside. However, we had weekend price action here, so I didn't expect anything. And as you can see, this was the weekend, and all it did was just move sideways. So it's now breaking out to the upside, which gives us the question, is it going to go up and hit the all-time high this week? Well, who knows? We'll soon find out. But it is looking pretty bullish, in my opinion, based on the fact that it is constantly hitting these key support areas and then bounces off of it. This area here was also pretty key because it was in the middle of this original range. So at the midpoint of this range, we have this level which came up and pushed up and took out the resistance and everything. So again, there was a lot of confluence for this level, and now we have 1, 2 kind of 3 highs and then 1, 2, 3 higher lows after the breakout of this range. So for me, on this time frame for the week ahead, I'd be looking for continuations. But because of this weekend price action, it's not too clear what's going to happen, and the levels are kind of a bit scrappy now. So using this overall range, I do think that it's kind of breaking out to the upside. What I'd probably be most pleased to see is a fair bit more sideways price action at this point. If I just remove these ranges, so we just have the raw price action on the screen, it'll be a bit clearer. We have really this kind of whole chain of resistance, which is probably going to get taken out. I imagine it's going to be coming up to test 110k. If you haven't caught this move by jumping in down here at this level, then I think it may well come down to this point here, and then test it and then bounce off of it. Simply because this is, again, a similar kind of concept to this decision point here. We have, this is where the buying took place to come and test and break this high. So my plan would be, since I'm not in a trade on Bitcoin, would be to look something like that, a bit of a retrace down to here, and then some sideways price action, and then look to continue this overall trend on a breakout on M15. And that would be my plan for the week, by the way. I don't know how long it's going to take, but on M15, the price action is kind of low volume. But again, it's kind of a similar sort of picture with the decision point here to break to the upside, drops down, hits it, and then comes and puts in a high. But it's an equal high. It is like a double top. So I would expect price to come down, and considering the choppy nature, I would expect it mostly to go sideways. So come down here, go sideways, and then look for some breakout to the upside before then pushing up higher. And then if I just look for an overall target, we are very close to the all-time high. So I think this week we may well see it tested at the very least. The volume is dropping off, so normally when it pushes above all-time highs, we see kind of a big rally up like that, and I think it's not going to happen just yet. It needs to reload, go sideways a little bit more, and then break to the upside. So that's Bitcoin. Now, if we look at Ethereum, we're on the weekly chart, and again, we're just going to mark some obvious levels that are key and just tell the story of price. So we have this big double top here, and then we have this low down here, and then again I've got this big high. Okay, so reading the story of price, just to get an idea of what we're expecting, what we can look to trade. Big high here, and this is the sell-off that comes down and takes out all of this support. So price drops down, pushes up, and instead of continuing, selling kicks in, and the selling starts from this level, originates from this level to come down and take out all the support. So this is a key level, and then price at this point here, this is where the buying took place. If you just follow the chain, the buying took place here to put this swing in and take out this resistance. So this is the very start of that trend, because again, more locally as well, you've got this resistance here. Instead of dropping down, it pushes up. On a retest of this level, it bounces. I mean, the whole level itself is like that. So it bounces off of it. I'm just marking the extremes. Puts in the double top, kind of like a triple top, and then this is where the selling kicks in to come down, take these lows, test these lows, and then we have local resistance here. If I zoom in, you can see it. Local resistance here, pushes up, and now tests this resistance, and this is the origin level to take out this support. So the selling took place after this bounce to come down and break it all, and now price is testing it. So we have to look on the lower time frames. I say lower, it's daily, to get a clearer picture. So again, just marking a couple of obvious levels, and then what we have is a really clean range that Ethereum is in, and it's been there for a very long time. Just going sideways, 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 breaks out to the upside, hits this resistance, and then finds the resistance, drops down, fakes this entire level. There is a little level down here, which we'll discuss afterwards, which I put in one of my other videos. And now it's pushing back into this range. So now we have to look down at H4 just to get a bit more of a clearer picture. So I'm just going to remove the range because it just clutters things. I'm just going to look at a bit more local levels. So we have some very obvious levels to me here. So we have this low, which was fairly obvious. It pushes up to come and take out this high, drops down, pushes back up, big momentum south, retraces, and then instead of continuing back up, the selling kicks in here to come down and take these lows. This is the origin of this entire swing here, which price is now coming up to test. And then after it drops down, we have another supply zone that is key, that's sitting on the level of support. And again, instead of dropping down and reacting in the way you'd expect resistance to, price ranges and then trends back up. So pushes up, doesn't fall down, goes sideways. We have 1, 2, 3 breaks to the upside, and then a lot of tests of the support, but really cleanly it's just wicking the lows, which is really indicative of wanting to push up. And then we have some clean breaks above this range. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 big surges to the upside. It's taking out this resistance, putting a little bit of a cluster at the top here, and we're dropping down, and it bounces off the top of this range, and now it's kind of pushing back up into this little cluster here. So it's looking bullish. I did go long last week at this candle here, so it's nice to see that's in profit. And I'm trading on what.exchange, who are sponsoring this video, just FYI. Again, link in the description below. So if we drop down to H1, get a bit more of a clearer picture with some more candles, and again we have this big low that was put in, this big support, sorry. Instead of continuing the trend, this gets knocked down, and then we have resistance here, but that resistance is not lived very long. It drops down. Instead of reacting, it does take out some of the selling, but then pushes up very quickly afterwards, and then it's kind of put in a similar type of low and price action that we've just discussed on Bitcoin, where the weekend price action goes sideways, breaks out, puts in a high low, and then continues to the upside. So my plan, early doors this week, if I'm looking to continue, add to my original trade, is to see things come down here, range a little bit, build up, and then longer breakout. But we have quite a clear little range here as well. I'll just change the color. And you can see that a bit, and it's sitting on the top of this other range. So I would expect maybe it comes down in a similar way that we saw overall in this range over here. It comes back down potentially, can't break the lows, and then starts pushing up. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on Ethereum this week. Again, on the lower time frames, the picture isn't too clear because we had all this weekend price action, very low volume. But on the hourly time frame, I'll be looking at that kind of 25, 29 level as a retrace point, and then look for some strength to buy to push up. Okay, and finally we have Solana. So I'm just going to again mark out the obvious points. Previous all-time high gets tested a couple of times, and it comes back down. And then we have this big low, which gets wicked, and then we can see this point here. This is where the sell-off kind of took place to test this low, and then prices ripped back up into it to test it. So let's look at the daily time frame to get a clearer picture. Okay, so let's just bring this down a little bit to make this a bit easier to see. So drops down, continues, tests the level once, and then drops back down to test all the support, puts in some local highs, and then we have the bottom of this chain here. So if you follow this price out, even though this is ranged here, these lows are just a reaction to this point here. So the actual end of the chain is here. This is the decision point where the buying took place to take out here and then also test here. So this is a key level. And then price comes down all the way back to it and is now bouncing off of it. And it's up to the market to see if it's going to push to the upside. There was an ETF approval, I think, recently, but didn't really do much in terms of the chart. So it pushes into this support area and then takes out first trouble area, ranges sideways, and this is really clear, like it ranges sideways, drops down like it's going to push back into the support, but it doesn't. It bounces back above the range. Here, I think this was the ETF news candle, comes back down into the range to retest it, find some strength, but it can't put in a higher high. comes back down into the range, but it can't put in a lower low. And now it's breaking to the upside. So if I just mark this level, it's taking out this resistance. And then the next area of resistance is up here. So I would expect, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that it may just build and then push up, but it's a shit coin at the end of the day, so I don't expect too much from it. If it starts taking out these lows here, I would consider that a break in market structure. I would consider that then to look for some lower lows and a series of them to short it down to like 128. It should have really continued at this point. You would have wanted to have seen, after that ETF news, some more strength and to push up, but it looks like it doesn't really want to do that in the moment. It's leveling out like that. So I would expect maybe this to get short. Let's look on the hourly time frame. Just remove some of that crap. Okay, not too bad. So we have, again, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, we have the weekend price action, which is just kind of meandered sideways at the top of this previous range, breaks out and now puts in another range. So this is kind of a key area now for me. On the hourly time frame, if we see a bit more sideways and then a breakout and some wicks to the downside, like we just discussed on Ethereum, and then another breakout, I would consider that a trade to go long. But considering the price action at the moment, the volume is very low. But this is a key area for me. It could well just drop as well from here. So it really depends on the next breakout on this time frame in terms of bias. But you would favor longs. You know, Bitcoin and Ethereum are looking pretty bullish in my opinion. So yeah, we've got that to consider. But overall, I think it's a little bit touch and go at the moment. I would wait for more price action and then wait to see which way things break out. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Go and trade on what.exchange. The link is in the description below and in the comments. It's a non-KYC exchange. They also have a big airdrop coming early 2026 in the style of hyperliquid. It's a really clean and simple platform to use. I've been enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm in a trade in Ethereum at the moment. So hoping everything goes up for the week. And if you've enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share it with your mates. Get your mates to share it. And I will see you at 6:30 p.m. this evening for a live stream to discuss this plan, to discuss the price action, and to answer any questions you guys have got based on this or any of your other trading questions. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.